George Carson remembers the German as a friendly older gentleman who always enjoyed coming back to Comrie. Since he was a close friend of George's parents, the kids called the visitor Uncle Heinrich.
Heinrich always said that he was very, very glad that he was captured by the Scots and not, say, the Australians or the Canadians. He might not have fared quite so well had he been captured by somebody else. And it probably saved his life. He said himself that he might not have survived the war otherwise, had he not been captured when he was.
Heinrich Steinmeier was 19 years old and in the notorious SS when a Scottish battalion took him prisoner in Normandy in 1944. He was taken to the Cultibragan camp on the edge of the Highlands, which held 4,000 prisoners of war. At first, the villagers were wary of their neighbours. These were men representing the Nazi regime that the Allies were fighting against, and which, at one point, had threatened to invade Britain. But some of the POWs would soon win the villagers' trust.
When they got off the train, they sang, and this caused a great feeling of, well, the people, the same as we are people, and this to bolster their confidence in a situation they didn't know what they were walking into, as I say, bolsters the confidence, and the villagers treated them with respect.
Among the prisoners who marched into the camp singing was a young Heinrich Steinmeier. Today, Cultibragan is the largest POW camp of the period still preserved. The simple corrugated iron-covered huts have occasionally been used as a setting for movies. The village of Comrie is working to protect this piece of its history. There's little record of Steinmeier aside from a photo of him in the visitors' centre. After the war, he stayed on in Scotland, working on farms. Even after he returned to Germany in 1970, he often came back to visit Comrie. He died childless at age 90. Then news came that he'd left the village over 400,000 euros, specifying that it go to benefit elderly locals.
I think it was the humanity and respect he was shown as a man rather than a foe that impressed him so much. And at 19, people are very impressionable.
In Germany, rumours persisted that Steinmeier had remained an unrepentant Nazi right up to his death. George doesn't believe them. He's sure his parents would never otherwise have been lifelong friends with him.
Certainly not. I never got anything like that from Heinrich at all. And he had like long conversations with my dad when he was across, and my dad would have mentioned, you know, that oh, Heinrich had these views, and I don't remember any conversations like that at all. No, quite the reverse, to be honest.
Comrie explicitly rejects criticism that it accepted money from a man alleged to be a staunch Nazi.
I can't understand how anybody could even put a negative spin on that. That would be awful. People who are making these kind of accusations, really, I think they should have a wee look at themselves and wonder what is their own agenda that they would be coming up with things like that. No.
The one real problem is that Comrie hardly has any needy citizens. Its elderly population is generally well-to-do. So what should the money be used for? A regular transport service might be of help to many seniors. So what do locals think?
So I think it should be spent in that, but not in a building or benches round about the village or that.
Day trips out, again for the elderly, like Christmas party or parcels, Christmas parcels, which used to do years ago anyway.
It was lovely. I think it was a very, very generous donation to the village, but it'll be very difficult to work out where it should all go.
And Heinrich Steinmeier was so taken with the place that he chose it as his final resting place.
They arranged for Heinrich's ashes to be delivered to Comrie. They spread his ashes on the hills over there, overlooking the camp, just as per Heinrich's will. But there was some money left over at the end. So what they did with the money was we planted this tree in Heinrich's memory, planted here at the entrance to the Cultibragan camp.
Now a small plaque commemorates Heinrich Steinmeier, the German POW who wanted to do something good in the place of his former incarceration.